Each week, nearly a dozen movies are released theatrically. 40 films a month, more than 400 a year. That's a plethora of cinema. Too much cinema. You'd have to be an addict to see all that, but don't fret. We've got you covered. This is CinemAddicts.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, what's up? It's a new week of CinemAddicts. This is CinemAddicts episode 330. We are covering movies that are coming out the week of Friday. What is it, Eric Holmes? Friday, February, 6th? Yeah, Friday, February 6th, 2026.
Thursday, right? February 5.
Oh, we're recording on February 5th.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are the movies coming out.
Yeah. It's totally the 6th. It's February 6th.
Don't
Friday,
you mess
February
up my intro again.
Right now.
How dare you? How dare you, Eric Holmes? Friday, February 6th, 2026 for the week starting. I used to say the week ending. Let's just start anew with the week starting Friday, February 6th, 2026. There's every single week. There's a lot of different movies. Me, Eric, and Bruce, we cover the movies that are a lot of them are under the radar. And hopefully we have some good gems for you this week. And of course, continuing, 330 episodes in, I still continue to have my fake voice, Eric Holmes. What is that about? What is that? Is this my fake voice? Do I speak to you outside of this thing like this as a recording when we're not recording? Am I saying, hi, Eric, how are you? What do you think?
Was it like Pavlov's dog? You just do something for a while and it becomes a habit?
Yes. Family show, but there are the Pavlovian things that I possibly do. I might do it on a G-rated show.
If we were not recording, we were like in person, and this is weird to think of, but outside. And you'd be like, "Hey Eric, how's it going?" Blah blah blah, hanging out, and I go, and 3, 2, 1. Hey Eric, how's it going? Oh, you got me.
Eric Holmes he just did an impression of me, Greg Strzavosty. That's how. In 3, 2, 1, this is how I talk to Eric Holmes. Hey, Eric, do you still have Bruce in the attic? Can you not give him food? Because he only reviewed 2 movies this week. He only reviewed 2 movies this week. What are we going to do? What are we going to do, Eric Holmes, about Bruce Perky reviewing only 2 movies this week? Is that good news or bad news? What do you say? I got you on the spot.
No, it's good news because we got him.
We got him?
Yeah, we got him.
No, I say why it's good news. I'm just joking. Because even though it's only 2 movies that he reviewed, Bruce did, Up in the Attic, these are 2 very value-added movies. The first movie he reviews this week is The Arborist. And then, spoiler alert, there's a possible gem of the week. It's a movie called The President's Cake. Bruce was recommending that me and Eric go see The President's Cake. And it's one of these things where Eric and I saw so many bleeping movies this week. We probably didn't get to the best movie this week. I don't know, Eric, are you a little bit sad that you didn't get to The President's Cake, which Bruce, spoiler alert, really loves? Or are there some movies that we can talk about and not waste the listeners' time? There might be some good stuff coming our way. No?
Honestly, I'm going to have to listen to the episode and have Bruce sell me on it because I saw a little bit of the trailer and read the synopsis. I'm like, nope. I'll let you guys do that.
There's a movie that, it's not called Nope, but there's a movie called Jimpa, which I think Eric and I are going to have a really nice discussion about. But anyways, apologies, listeners, for the mess up on the intro on my part. But for February 6th, the movies coming out that we are reviewing include Bruce's aforementioned The Arsonist, The President's Cake. Yes, The President's Cake. There's a movie called Twisted. There is a film called Bight, not B-I-T-E, B-I-G-H-T. Eric saw this vampire film called Nadja, which is continuing Eric's obsession with vampires. I'm assuming a week ago he reviewed A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night with me over at Patreon and Bruce.
Oh, wait.
So we covered that. What? Yes.
Is The President's Cake? Does that have a vampire in it?
No vampires. No vampires.
Yeah, never mind. I'm not watching it. Go on.
Just cake. I like cake. I don't even know if there's a cake in The President's Cake.
I don't even like cake.
Oh yeah, you're not a big. I remember this. You're not a big fan of sweets. You're not a big sweets fan, Eric.
I knew soda. I knew sweet tarts. That's about it.
I love sweet tarts as well. So these are the movies that we're covering. Some really good stuff. And then yes, Jimpa. That's a very interesting movie. I feel very bad for Eric. I told Eric I was going to cover the movie Twisted. It looks like a movie that Eric and I would both love. Good news is Eric reviewed it, and you were able to speak with the director, Darren Lynn Bousman, this week. How did that interview go? I will be posting it up on our socials and our next episode podcast, maybe in a couple of days maybe I'll do another hodgepod this weekend. But how did that chat with Darren go?
Pretty good. Almost didn't happen because there was some technical difficulties, but we worked it out and
Why? What happened? The technical. Did you have a DJ Osmo Pocket 3, which I hate, just like me? Do you have one of those stupid cameras that really don't work?
It knocked me out, and I was just I just had power issues and had a It happens sometimes.
It happens sometimes. You still had a good little chat with Darren Lynn Bosman talking about Twisted?
Yeah. It was supposed to do him and Alicia Witt, but by the time we got the power thing situated, Alicia Witt had a heart out, so she didn't do it. But I still got Darren Lynn Bosman, and that he was a good time. Off the jump, we get into some spoiler stuff, so maybe we cut that part out of the interview and post it like maybe later on down the road after the movie's been out. But got some good stuff. I got to talk to him a bit about. We talked about stretching his wings, doing stuff he's not comfortable with, and then he started talking about how he'd like to do sci-fi fantasy movie. And
have you watched a lot of his movies, Eric? Darren Lynn Bosman.
Yeah,
have you seen a lot of?
Yeah, pretty much all the Saw movies he's done. Repo the Genetic Opera. I gotta look him up, but yeah, I don't know if I've seen all of them, but I've seen a lot of them.
Does he have a certain distinct style from your POV, just his storytelling style, or
yeah? If you see the Saw movies, it's kind of like that, like real stylized. Back, for instance, you go to a police precinct, and all the lights are turned off except for a neon light in the back corner, like backlighting them, stuff like that.
Very interesting stuff. Let's get to Twisted. Why not? Let's go review Twisted. This movie reviewed by Eric from the director of
Twisted is the third in a trilogy. You may have seen Twisters and Twister and Twisters. This is the third in the series, Twisted.
Here's Eric.
Nothing to do with tornadoes.
Here's Eric ruining the movie plot summary again. You're trying to make things entertaining, Eric. I don't like it. I don't like the entertainment on CinemAddicts. Very, very bad and very good of you to do that. From the director of Saw 2 and Spiral, which this show is going on a spiral, and I love it. A con artist real estate scam unravels into a nightmare when she's captured by a surgeon with a terrifying plan. The movie stars Lauren Levera. And here's the great news for Twisted and why I am going to eventually catch up with Twisted this weekend. It co-stars Hansu. It's available on digital February 6th. Eric will have the review in moments, but digital February 6th. People want to spend money. They don't have to go to the theaters. Eric, before you start your review, should people rent or purchase Twisted on their various digital platforms? What do you think in general?
Is this not playing in theaters at all?
Nope. It just says available on digital February 6th.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, okay. That's a good.
This is a theater. This is a go to a theater movie. But yeah, if you got to do digital, bring some people over to watch it with you, because it starts off. So these two women are con artists. They basically sell houses or sell rental properties, but they don't own the house. So they'll go to someone's house that there's no one there. And they'll bring someone there and show the house off, like they're the realtor or they're the person renting out the Airbnb or whatever the case is. And then they'll say, yeah, it looks good. I'll take it. Though, in fact, the first scene has, if you watch Rescue Me, Proby shows up in the first scene. He's like the first mark. And they take money from him. And it's like, all right, we'll see you Friday or whatever day they agree on. He comes by and he's like, yeah, I'm here. Who are you? It's like, who are you? It's like, I rented this place. I'm like, not for me. This is my house. And then come to find out, oh crap, I've been scammed. So these ladies scam people. And then at some point, Jaimin Hansu, Eric. Jaimin
Hansu, not Jamon.
Yes.
I'm being I'm a pronunciation police alert right now on you.
Didn't I say that? You
said, oh. No, I'm kidding. Jaimin Hansu. It's hard to pronounce. Jaimin Hansu. But go ahead.
Jaimin Hansu. Anyway, he comes across one of the women that was in mid-scam. She's getting
what?
Okay. Family show.
She's getting effed up, yes.
She's getting messed up by the person that she was scamming. And Jaimin Hansu comes up from behind him, knocks him out, and then knocks her out. The guy's dead, and then she's tied up in this room. And then from that point on, it's one of those stories where like her friend eventually finds out that she's missing, trying to find out where she is. The woman locked up doesn't seem to be in any immediate danger because Jaimin Hansu definitely kidnapped her, but he doesn't seem like he wants to hurt her or anything. Mm-hmm. So it's very strange. He's acting very strange about this whole thing. And then, so from that point on, it's kind of what's he want with her there? Is her
Did you
friend
like
going
the
to find
setup?
her in time?
Did you like that setup?
Yeah. So the setup kind of felt, what was that, Au Pair Nightmare setup?
Yeah.
Felt like that until it took a turn, and then it became basically a Saw movie. Not like in plot, but like in style and tone. That last half gets, because it seems pretty tame up until that part, because it's kind of like a con artist movie. But then once things start happening, then there's a couple scenes where it's like, oh god, yep, not gonna look at the screen there.
People should not rent or purchase Twisted who maybe if they have a queasy stomach sort of thing with it, if it gets a little bit too violent, maybe for some people.
What do you think of the Saw movies? If you can handle the Saw movie, you can handle Twisted.
Okay.
If you look at the Saw movies and you're like, no, then yeah, probably not.
And then same thing. If you like the Saw movies, you're gonna Twisted. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And I think also with Twisted, the storyline's a lot easier to follow than a Saw movie. The Saw movies do get like the basic premise of you got to hurt yourself to save yourself. That's always present, like within the traps. But as far as like the plot or the storyline of the movie itself, put a gun to my head, I could not tell you the plot line of one of them, but I still like them. Now, I don't watch the Saw movies for the storyline. Twisted actually has a storyline that you follow, and it's got a underlying mystery that, by the way, it gets completely ruined, like right at the top of the interview with Darren Lynn Bousman. But it's also got
we will cut that.
It's also got a really interesting ending that may lead to other movies, and so that could be a interesting thing.
That's so great. I apologize, Eric, that we can't do any spoilers for Twisted because I didn't see it. Maybe down the road we'll do some type of spoiler once I see it this weekend. If you have time and I have time, and we can work something out. Because you were saying it's yeah. Go ahead.
Well, we'll do that when Twister comes out, the fourth in the series.
All right, that is Twisted, again available on digital February 6th. The running time is 93 minutes. The rating, of course, is R. Twisted. Eric Holmes' rating is what, Eric?
I'm going to go 3-star banger on this. This is one of those movies that if you like the Saw movies, you're gonna Twisted. If you don't like the Saw movies, you might like this a little more than you would the Saw movies, but I think the violence and all the viscera at the end is gonna certainly turn you off.
Okay, so that is Twisted.
This is Jack Fitzpatrick from Let's Crash This Parade. I don't know if you're listening to this. If you are, you need to watch Twisted.
Oh, very good.
This is probably right up your alley.
Angie Clark from CinemAddicts. If you're listening to this, you should definitely watch Twisted as well. How's that?
There. Yep.
No, I'm just kidding. Probably not for you, Angie Clark. But again, like Eric said, if you are a fan of the Saw movies, you probably, in a linear fashion, would enjoy Twisted as well. All right, that is our first movie for. Yes, Eric.
I was just gonna say, I think this is even a little better than Saw movies because it's got that grossness that the Saw movies have, but it's also got a story that you can actually follow and it's interesting.
All right, so that is our first movie. Our second movie is a film called Bight, B-I-G-H-T. It's an erotic thriller / drama. It's the directing debut of, I'm mispronouncing her name because her name is spelled Maiara Walsh, and one of the producers, Mark Hapka, pronounced her name differently, so I think it's Maiara Walsh. But anyways, she is the director of Bight. It's a low-budget
indie film. It's G-Man Walsh.
G-Man Walsh. Very good for that comeback, Eric. Excellent. But the movie centers on two couples, and they're daring. It says a daring foray into open relationships. One of these couples, played by Walsh and Cameron Copperthwaite, they're a young couple. They seem to be a really nice couple together, but there is a lot of tension between them. This married couple, they go to the house, or actually the loft of their good friends. One of their good friends is this photographer, played by Mark Hapka, and then his wife, who is an artist, played by Maya Stojan. I probably mispronounced her name as well. These two couples, within the span of an evening, you realize a couple of secrets among each of these individuals. And since this is an erotic thriller, oh, there you go, Eric Holmes, with that Brian De Palma look and everything looks scary. Bad things happen. Bad things and very interesting things happen in this erotic thriller. And it's on digital and VOD February 6th. Most of this movie takes place in the loft. And even though it's an indie film, the way that it looks, it's very, very, the lighting's great. The visual design with all the art and the painting and is really well done. And there's also a really intense Japanese thing called, I think it's called shibari, Shibari. I could be wrong. Shibari. It's a rope.
Greg's family show.
Oh, it's a rope. I know it's a rope bondage thing, and that plays a prominent part in Bight. If you look at the poster, which is going to be on our podcast cover this week, you realize this is a very intense, erotic thriller. But when I say erotic thriller, I don't mean it's not salacious or crude. It's the characters are really well etched. Very good performance by all of the actors involved. And the final act where we see where the chickens come home to roost, when secrets come out and jealousy surfaces and possibly violence comes to the forefront, things get really intense with Bight. I really enjoyed this film. For an indie film, it was really well acted, really well shot. I'm giving it a solid 3.5 stars. It's worth a rental and a watch when it hits digital and VOD February 6th. Also, check out my interview with Mark Hapka over at our Deepest Dream YouTube channel for more insight on Bight. But I was pleasantly surprised at how deep this movie went. And the final act, Eric, and I apologize for, you're going to get in a second, the family show, but I really love the ending of this movie. Eric's laughing. Family show. I really like this ending of this movie, and I'm going to the actual Hapka talks about the end of the movie, and the video for that will be available for our CinemAddicts Patreon patrons this weekend. I keep saying this, but I have a backlog of spoilers that I need to get out for our Patreon feed, and there's a way I'm so behind, and I apologize for that. But Bight hopefully will be a sign of good things to come. Yes, Eric Holmes, your question regarding Bight.
You mentioned like the sexual stuff in this. Would it be would it be prudent to point out that it's spelled BIGHT and not BITE?
It's BIGHT, which is right, not BITE. And I should have asked,
like,
why is it called
Blight
Bight
without the L in it?
Exactly, Blight without the Bight with Blight without the L in it. Very good. On digital and VOD February 6th. Very interesting movie. Would love to hear what you think of this really interesting and well done, executed indie film. That's it for movie number 2. Let's see what we got for movie number 3, Eric. Let's see. Do we have anything for... Oh, Eric, here's a thing. Nadja, this is a movie quote, the synopsis is, in 1993, invited by David Lynch to come up with a low-budget genre movie, Michael Almereyda recombined characters from Bram Stoker and set them loose in contemporary New York. And this movie, Nadja, features Alina Lowenson in the titular character. She is a disillusioned young vampire who imagines herself liberated by the death of her father, Count Dracula. But the unhinged Dr. Van Helsing, played by Peter Fonda, wants to destroy her as well, interrupting her reunion with her twin brother Edgar, played by Jared Harris. The movie was shot on 35mm. And what's great about this, also shot in pixel vision. It actually alternates with hallucinatory pixel vision images, which is pixel vision is conjured by the Fisher-Price toy camera. I remember Nadja when it came out in 93. A lot of people were really loving how this movie looked, how it was executed. This is in the 90s. Is there that indie films was a really powerful aspect of cinema. I wish it was as powerful today. But this was a very, very popular film among people who loved indie films back in the 90s. 93 minutes, actually was released in 1994, plus it's black and white. The reason why Eric Holmes is reviewing Nadja in a few moments is because it has a 1-week run. I believe right now, let me look it up. It's a 4K restoration, and it has a 1-week run at BAM, I believe, where I think that's somewhere in New York. I apologize, Eric Holmes. You're going to get to it in a second. Yes, new 4K restoration and director's cut of Nadja. It's going to be, actually right now we're February 6th, starting Friday, and February 8th at Philosophical Research Society. and then hits February 21st and 22nd at Vidiot. And I believe it was doing a 1-week run at Bam too. I'll look at it while Eric does the review. All right, Eric, what is your take on Nadja? And I want to say this one thing. One of the reasons why I didn't want to review Nadja is several years ago, we reviewed the Michael Almereyda film Tesla, and I really did not like that movie. So I actually pleaded for Eric Holmes or Bruce Perky to watch this movie. And thank you, Eric Holmes. You took the maybe bullet, or maybe it was a good thing. Tell us what you think of Nadja.
First of all, I should probably point out, and the screener I got of this on top said work in progress screener. I guess maybe that was a misprint or something. I don't know what the work in progress I thought was the certain scenes that are pixelated, but apparently that's the artistic choice.
That's artistic
so
choice.
I don't know what the work in progress is, but it says it was, so I may be reviewing an incomplete movie. I didn't seem like it, but here we go. First of all, right off the bat, this is way better than Tesla by a lot. My biggest issue with Tesla was just you're doing a biopic on someone, and the angle they went at that biopic just wasn't interesting and a waste of time. This was a more fun take on the whole Dracula story. It's also this produced by David Lynch.
Yeah, I'm assuming,
David Lynch shows up in it. It's got some heavy David Lynch dreamscape bits to it. The acting's kind of, you know how like the acting gets in certain David Lynch movies? Like you'll have world-class actors, but they'll speak oddly.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like they're trying to act natural. They're trying to act like they're in a David Lynch movie, or maybe someone in a Wes Anderson movie. They're not trying to act natural. Their acting is stylized to fit a Wes Anderson movie. This kind of is how the acting is in this. Peter Fonda's freaking hilarious in this, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but he seems like a drugged out dude that's like trying to get away with something constantly. And I guess in some ways, because he plays Dracula in Van Helsing, which I got confused because I thought it was the same person. But anyway, yeah. I'd say about the first half of the movie leans real heavy into sort of, not really dream logic, but it's got a bunch of weird flashbacks or real weird dreamscape kind of stuff that I was into, but I wasn't really following what it was about. But then towards the end, the plot becomes a little more clear. Not that deep, but yeah, it's good stuff. It's basically a vampire family movie.
Is it a slog, 93-minute slog, or is it well done? No.
I suppose it would, because like I said, the first half is like real dreamy and artsy, so there might be some people that watch it that just don't fall into the vibe a bit and then just walk away. I suppose that's a thing that could happen, but I didn't. I was into the vibe.
Am I gonna like it?
What's that?
Will I like it?
Oh yeah. Didn't you say you did? Is this not the same movie that was? I thought you said you saw this back in '94 or whatever.
Oh no, I heard about it.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, I think you would. How do you feel about David Lynch movies?
Love them.
Okay, then yeah, you'll be right at home here. Yeah, the story, vampire family doing vampire family stuff. There's a bit of discovering like who, yeah. Story's not really that interesting, but the look of it and the characters and watching Peter Fonda act like a stoner dude. Yeah. It was funny. It was cool. It looked great. The pixel vision threw me off because I thought maybe the buffering went way down. I'm like, what the hell? And then I noticed. I noticed it happened during like certain parts, like when certain things in the movie happened that would come back. I'm like, oh, I think this is just an artistic choice, but is it? And then at one point, the bottom half of the screen is clear, and then the top half of the screen, almost in a half circle, is in that pixel vision, kind of like how they do the split diopter by putting the thing over half the lens.
Yeah,
they did that with whatever pixel vision thing they did, and that looked cool as hell.
Oh, and they like a good movie.
And they play Space Hog in the movie.
Oh man!
So if you like David Lynch movies, you'll like this. If you like vampires, you'll like this. If you like Peter Fonda acting like a stoner, you'll like this. And if you like Space Hog, you'll like this. And I just happen to like all those things, so there you go. And yeah, this is I wouldn't say an improvement over Tesla, because I guess technically Tesla came out way after this, but Yeah, as much as I didn't like Tesla, I like this quite a bit. So
Okay,
I'll go
go ahead.
4
Go
stars.
4 stars from Eric Holmes for Nadja. Very good. Let me just add this from the email that we received. Quote, the original director's cut of Nadja was digitally restored by, let me look, Arbelos, is that it? Yeah, Arbelos and Grasshopper Film from the only extant means existing, okay, fancy word, the only extant element, the 35 millimeter print, the version of the film that premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in 1994. This version, Eric, that you saw is 3 minutes longer than the commercial release. So this is very good. You got to see the 4K restoration director's cut of Nadja. And you, dear listener, will be able to watch it if you are somewhere in New York City specifically, February 6th at BAM. It's going to be playing at BAM from February 6th through February 12th. We will leave a link where you can actually see if Nadja is playing in your respective city. So check out our show notes for the actual link for Nadja. Very good, Eric. Yeah. 4 stars. And Eric is so...
I also want to repeat, the thing at the top said work in progress screener. So as far as I can tell, I don't know what the work in progress, I don't know what they had to progress within that work, but it looked like a finished movie to me. So
okay, very cool.
That's what I'm going off of. If it turns out they're like, no, we forgot this, then take off the 4 stars and I'll watch it again and redo it. But listeners, that's what they said. That's what they sent me. That's what I'm reviewing. So there you go.
Exactly. And when Eric says they are the wonderful publicists who are repping Nadja and the 4K restoration. So who knows?
I think Bruce, you mentioned that maybe it was like a mistake or whatever, that like maybe that wasn't supposed to be there or whatever.
Oh, maybe they sent the wrong link, but I think this should be the right link from the publicist. If it's a wrong link,
it looked like a completed movie to me. I don't know what more work needed to progress on there because it looked pretty solid as it was.
Okay, very good, very good.
Hey, if it's gonna get better, then 4.5, I guess.
Anyways, that is 4 stars from Eric Holmes for Nadja. Again, thank you, Eric, for watching that. And by the time this comes out, you're listening to us on February 6th. Yeah, reserve a ticket. Tell us what you think of Nadja. And I've never been to BAM, so I miss going to. Back in the 90s, Eric, I used to go to New York all the time. You don't know this. I used to go to New York, travel back and forth from LA.
That's weird.
No, in the LA, I used to go on a red eye, 10 o'clock from Los Angeles, which you've been to Los Angeles a couple times.
That involves leaving the house. That's weird.
In the 90s, I left the house all the time. Maybe I would go twice a month sometimes. You listen to Matt and Greg used to interview movies. I think we talked about that. I would sometimes even 2-3 times a month. I'd go to New York, do the red eye from LA, go out to New York, be put up in a nice 5-star fancy hotel usually on Park Avenue, and walk to the local theater and watch movies, Eric. How cool is that? And they gave us, they gave our, you know what they did? They don't do this anymore, but they would give us per diems every night. For example, I used to be at this really wonderful Park Avenue hotel. I think it's called, was it called the Regency Hotel? And remember, this is 1993-94 rates. Every night we'd get about a per diem of $125. And that $125 would be used for food. What do you think?
He said, you know what they used to do? I thought they were going to say they used to just lick you in the face, which is why I no longer go outside. I thought that was going to be the
very pun intended twisted way of thinking things. But maybe, possibly, if they ever did that, I would be traumatized, and I'd be traumatized, and B, I'd be probably going to New York a lot more. So let's go to the next movie, and the final movie for this week for me and Eric is Jimpa. A featured movie. Jimpa opens, I believe, in New York and Los Angeles February 6th. This is a very interesting movie. It's directed by Sophie Hyde. Her daughter, her daughter? Is it her daughter? It's one of these things where her child is non-binary. Sophie's non-binary child is played by Aude Mason Hyde. And Aude Mason Hyde plays Frances, a teenager Frances. And Frances, that's one of the focuses in Jimpa. And Frances, she is not feeling really at home in Adelaide, Australia. That's where she and her parents live. And Frances wants to live in Amsterdam with her grandfather, who she calls Jimpa, because her grandfather, Jimpa, played by John Lithgow, his first name is Jim.
Yes. Jimpa.
Jimpa. Very good. Here it comes. Excellent, excellent. Now, Jimpa, played by John Lithgow, is a free spirit. And what happened was back in the day, he left his family when his daughter was 13. He left Adelaide, Australia, moved to Amsterdam, and went on to live just a really fascinating life as a gay activist and as a professor. So this movie, Jimpa, centers on this non-binary teenager played by Frances. She takes her parents and her mother. Her mother's Hannah, played by Olivia Colman. She's a filmmaker. And they visit Jimpa over in Amsterdam. That is the premise of Jimpa. It's close to 2 hours. And I'm actually trying to explain the plot because it's a family drama, but it's also about gender and sexual identity. It's about
basically John Lithgow's character Jimpa. It's a lot of him going on about a bunch of anti-trans platitudes, which is weird because like his character's gay, but he does like a bunch of he says like a bunch of really bigoted stuff towards the LGBTQ community.
Right. Especially about like non-binary. He doesn't understand that concept. And then there's a conversation.
Not only does he not understand it, he doesn't think it exists. Like if you're bisexual, you're lying. It's kind of like one of those things where it's, oh no, I can say that I'm gay. I'm like, that's still bigoted. I don't care. I don't care what your sexuality is. Bigot is bigot. But then, it comes to it. Oh, don't get in that part.
You can't. You can't say anything
until it comes towards the end, and then things kind of sort of come together a little bit. But I think a lot of this movie is. Have you ever seen Hurly Burly?
I did the press junket. Yeah.
You know how Hurly Burly's kind of really about nothing. They're just in that hotel room, just talking about a bunch of different things throughout the whole movie. And there's a little bit of plot, but not really. That's what this feels like. You're basically following them around, and then every once in a while, John Lithgow would come in and say, and then another thing about the queers that I don't appreciate these days. It was like, oh God, he's going to start bloviating again. And it was just a ton of that. When they cut to the sort of the other relationships, those are cute. And I dug that. But then, look, I love John Lithgow. I absolutely abhor his character in this. Every time he popped in, I'm like, get the hell off the screen, please. I do not like this.
Very interesting. Yeah, Jimpa obviously has that huge flaw, but for most of his life, he was a gay activist, and we're not going to say what else happens to his character within the framework of this narrative, but he's done a lot of stuff in his life. But Eric said he's highly flawed, as is different characters in Jimpa. I think one of the things that may detract people is this story has so much story in it. There is a lot of characters swimming in and out of the narrative that some people might feel that Jimpa is overstuffed with material, because you're thinking, okay, it's Frances. She's learning about her sexuality. She's learning about what's it like to have pleasure as a non-binary person and to connect with someone who is whether a cis male or a person who's bisexual. She's exploring her sexuality. That route should make with some really a great ensemble and a great script for an interesting story. But there are roots and branches of different sub-stories in Jimpa, and it could frustrate a lot of viewers. Did it frustrate you, Eric, with everything going on? Even the little characters, the supporting characters had their own little mini arc.
No, actually, I like those parts. The thing that frustrated me was the title character was Jimpa. It was just like, I don't, the idea of bigot holding court and then speaking as if, I don't know, I just didn't like it. Every time he opened his mouth, I just wanted to close it for him because a lot of the stuff that was coming out of his mouth, basically the tone of it that I got was, screw the LGBTQ community. They all suck and they're all wrong. It's okay. I can say it. I'm gay. That's what I got from it. And that's where his character misunderstands the world he's living in. But we got that in the real world. I don't need to see it in a movie. Exactly. I don't care. I don't care if it came from a gay character. That's bigoted talk and it's gross. And after a while, I'm just like,
You're checked out on the character.
And just to be clear, it doesn't appear that the movie sides with him because, but at the same time, I can go on Twitter and hear that talk. I get enough of it just out there in the world. I don't want to watch a movie where someone's just sitting there bloviating that same garbage.
I saw it as a person who has a huge flaw, but then I'm also litigating on the rest of his life, and he did a lot of interesting things. And the movie itself, it's a semi-personal account on director Sophie Hyde's life, because her own child is the lead in the movie, which is very interesting, and it's inspired by Sophie's own family. So this is a very personal story with two great leads in John Lithgow and Olivia Colman. If it's Olivia Colman in a movie and the DVD or the movie is on streaming, I'm just going to press play or put it in the machine, because I will follow any Olivia Colman movie, period. And she's really good in this. I want to mention that if you saw Olivia, you wouldn't know this, Eric, but if you saw Olivia Colman's character in The Bear, she plays a restaurant owner in The Bear, and she was so great in that character. And if you liked her character in The Bear, you're gonna like her character here. Meaning, Olivia Colman is great when she's speaking and taking in the moment. She's just a very magnetic and understanding and empathetic character. And I liked her character in this movie, Hannah, which is interesting. Hannah is, I'm assuming, is the alter ego of Sophie Hyde, the director, because Hannah in Jimpa, she's a filmmaker and she's trying to make a movie about her father. And her premise about making a movie about her dad is she wants to celebrate her father and showing that a lot of drama happened, but you can still be a happy family without conflict. That's her thesis of the movie. And then she gradually sees, as the story progresses, maybe her thesis about there doesn't need to be conflict even when you have adversity in a family, maybe that thesis might have a few holes in it. And that's some among the many explorations of Jimpa. I mentioned also all of these.
That bit right there was kind of an interesting thing. Like just the idea of that, or the thesis of that,
which I don't agree with.
Conflict.
Yeah. Who agrees with that? There might be a couple movies out there that have that.
You can't say no, because one of these days someone's going to do it.
That's true.
That's the exception. It's like they did it.
Yeah,
that means it can be done.
So there's a couple of things, and I was reading this movie's getting a lot of mixed reviews. It's a very personal story. I really found all of the stories that are swimming in and out to be quite immersive and moving. I love the performances in Jimpa. 2 hours didn't feel like a slog for me. I was swept away with this movie. There's a third act where it goes a different direction, and I really enjoyed the subtle creative choices that they made in the third act. But overall, Jimpa is this week's surprise for me at how, and there's a great thing. I don't know if Eric liked it. There's so many people in this. Sophie Hyde, she does this thing where in the present, you see them in the present, and then you see a couple of flashbacks on how they looked when they were younger. And there's a couple of flashbacks, actually a lot of flashbacks throughout the narrative where you see all of these incidental characters who are part of Jimpa's life. You see them at a certain age now in the present, but then show flashback to them younger and how they related to a younger Jimpa. So a really well-rounded family film, and has a lot of stuff to say, and it might be overbaked and overstuffed for a lot of people, but it was the right meal for me. So Jimpa, I'm giving it 4.5 stars. I thoroughly loved it. Eric, I have to give Eric credit. I have a feeling I know what Eric's going to give Jimpa in a few moments, but he messaged me and he said, this is a movie that you and Bruce would love, or either love. I don't know what you said, but either one. And Eric was right. Eric, what is your rating on Jimpa?
Yeah, beyond me absolutely hating the Jimpa character, it also just kind of wasn't my movie just in general. These kind of like slow, like family dramas can work for me sometimes, but most of the time I'm just this thing over yet? Is someone going to shoot someone in the face or get in a karate fight? What the hell is going on here? So I was checked out through most of it. Whenever Jimpa came on, I was like, oh God, more of this guy. And then I would say the third act, when the thing happens, it got a little more interesting then. But overall, I'm 2 stars on this. But that's why I hit you up, because you're like, oh, it sucks. I'm like, I didn't like it, but I think you and Bruce might. So I'm glad you watched it. And I'm glad you got more out of it than I did, because this was not a movie for me by any stretch.
Fair enough. Jimpa, over in Rotten Tomatoes, to Eric's point, it has currently a rating from critics at 54%.
That's weird. I thought it would be higher, actually. As much as I didn't like it, I thought it would be like way higher than that.
Yes, and again, props to Odd Mason Hyde. They, I don't think, have done a lot of movies, or if any, maybe it's their movie debut. I haven't checked IMDb, but they do a really good job as the lead in Jimpa. Amidst acting amongst Olivia Colman and John Lithgow, they do a great job. And I found this movie to be moving and insightful, and I wouldn't even mind watching it again. Maybe I'm
wouldn't mind watching it again.
You wouldn't mind watching it
again. You're gonna watch it again for the both of us.
Yeah. You know what I will watch again for? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll watch Twisted again for the both of us. In fact, I'll watch it 3 times. Once for me, once for you, and once for Bruce. And then
very
slam it in your head.
I wish Bruce saw Jimpa. It would have been nice to get his reaction, because I wonder if he's going to be on your camp, Eric, or my camp. Anyways, Jimpa, February 6th, New York and Los Angeles. Finally, we have just a quick movie recommendation. You can just mention Send Help, Eric, Sam Raimi. A couple of thoughts on the movie. Should people watch it in theaters this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. Send Help is great. Anytime you get a Sam Raimi movie that's not part of existing a superhero movie,
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, what was that?
Doctor Strange.
Drag Me to Hell, I think, was his last movie.
He did Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or
No, Drag Me to Hell was the last movie that Sam Raimi did, 2009.
Okay.
And he has not made a movie since. Drag Me to Hell
It's Sam Raimi. It's Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi doing a horror masterpiece, Drag Me to Hell, and has not even touched a camera since.
Oh boy, he did that Wizard of Oz movie. Remember? Return. What is it?
No, that was someone else. Sam Raimi did none of that. The last movie he did was Drag Me to Hell, and he finally followed it up with Send Help some 15 years later.
This is the best Sam Raimi film since remember that Spider-Man movie where he kisses, where Tobey Maguire and Kristen Dunst, they kiss each other and she's upside down or something, and there's a web thing. What? No, remember?
I don't think so.
He was a Spider-Man.
No, because before Drag Me to Hell, the movie he did before that was The Gift. And he had never, that was in 2000. He had not done a movie for 9 years until he finally did Drag Me to Hell. And then after Drag Me to Hell, not one movie up until this year was Send Help. He's kind of like a filmmaking locust. He just doesn't make movies a lot. Yeah, I don't know what these Spider-Man and Doctor Stranges you're talking about, or the Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz that came out in like the 40s or 30s or whatever. Yeah, this is not.
I will say this, Eric, you are a fan of Sam Raimi. I found this to be a very singular experience. This was so much fun in the theaters, and it just seemed like its own movie, meaning it didn't fit any algorithm. It's just original IP and just an original idea, and well done.
The cool thing about this is how they played on the power dynamics. You have a boss. It's a real piece of work. We'll say it's a family show. Real piece of work. And then once they're on the island, basically Rachel McAdams becomes a boss. She's the one in charge. She's the one that knows how to survive. Dylan O'Brien's kind of screwed without her, and they show that. And all of a sudden, maybe she's not so innocent anymore. And so it's not so much that this person's. I think it explores the idea that maybe it's not the person that's the person that's the a-hole. It's the position that makes humans that way. Like power, was that power corrupts absolutely or whatever. If you get something over someone, if you're in a position of leadership or you're a boss or whatever, maybe take this move to heart a little bit and check yourself sometimes, because you could be the a-hole and not realize it. But yeah, I like how they played with the power dynamics. That plane crash scene was
great.
Freaking
so, in all seriousness, Eric, in all seriousness though, 2022 Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you obviously saw the movie. You never
I never even heard of it.
Okay,
so.
for argument's sake, all right? Drag Me to Hell, released in 2009.
Yeah, it's the last movie before this.
Okay, Send Help, released 2026. That is 17 years. Do you feel bad that there wasn't any other Sam Raimi movie within those 17 years? Do you think we were deprived of a couple of more, I don't know, Evil Deads or Dark Bands or Army of Darkness? Is that what you're trying to jokingly say?
I mean, I guess they did the episode of Ash versus Evil Dead, but I mean, that's just him doing Evil Dead again. Like, I love Drag Me to Hell. I love Send Help. I love The Gift. I love For Love of the Game, Simple Plan.
How awesome is a Simple Plan? How awesome is that movie? How awesome is a Simple Plan?
I mean, it's basically Fargo 2. Yeah, it's what happened.
I liked it over Fargo. I really
no. What I'm saying is Simple Plan is you watch Fargo. What happened to the money? Watch Simple Plan. That's what happened to the money.
Dude, The Quick and the Dead. I'm a Western fan. That was so much fun. Just a fun movie. Great fun Western. Overlooked Western, Eric. But here's the good news. You're mentioning all these Sam Raimi movies. I'm just glad that he was able to step up his game and join the MCU all those years, Eric. So,
and I'm not even joking. Like, all jokes aside, I never even watched Multiverse of Madness because I don't care.
Oh,
the Spider-Man movies are fine, but Oz Great and Powerful was fine. But the Drag Me to Hell and Send Help, those movies
Sam,
are fine.
I understand. I understand. There's a Sam Raimi who directs these films, Eric. What part do you think? I wonder, because if Sam Raimi is going to direct something like Send Help and A Simple Plan and The Gift, no disrespect to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I'm sure he's working his butt off to execute that movie. But I wonder, for someone as smart and as crafty and as singular as Sam Raimi, what parts of his creativity must he stamp down to actually direct it? And that makes it interesting. Instance,
that wild boar scene's not going to make its way into Multiverse of Madness. There's just that. You're just not going to get that in Spider-Man. You get like little Sam Raimi-isms, like the whole Doc Ock scene. Does have some Sam Raimi-isms, but you don't get that plane crash in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
where dude's just like get caught up by his tie and just constantly being slammed up against the window of the airplane.
You don't get the ending of Drag Me to Hell.
No, hell no, you don't.
Literally.
Spoiler alert. Skip ahead a few seconds if you haven't seen Drag Me to Hell. You do not end a movie where the character you've been following the whole time literally gets dragged down to hell. Roll credits. It's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, and then you forgot. So what the hell just happened? That was awesome. So
that was awesome.
So how happy were you when you finally finished Send Help? How happy were you that you were watching a Sam Raimi film in the theater? And
I've never done heroin, but I guess like, as sad as it is that Sam Raimi has never even touched a camera since 2009.
Here we go.
On one hand, it's sad, but on the other hand, do you ever deprive yourself of water for a long time? Maybe you're working out or it's hot outside or whatever, and then you finally get that drink of water, or like you go to the faucet, it's like, go. It's like, oh, this is the best thing ever. That's what I feel watching Send Help. Maybe Send Help's fine. Maybe Send Help's pretty mediocre. But Sam Raimi hasn't made a movie in 17 years, has not even looked at a camera in that much time, and he finally gets to be behind the camera for the first time in 17 years. Has never happened.
Am I overrating Send Help by giving it 5 stars? I'm giving it 5 stars.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. If Send Help came out like 2 years after Drag Me to Hell, maybe we'd be like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. But since he hasn't even, he doesn't even know what a camera is for 17 years. And then he unearths his camera. What is this artifact? I guess I'll make a movie out of it. He goes to make Send Help. And then we've just been deprived of Sam Raimi for so long. Maybe that's what's getting me so excited about it. But yeah, I'm with you. 5 stars. I love Send Help.
Very good. 5 stars from me. 5 stars from Eric Holmes. Peter Abeyta from Middle Class Film Class. If you're looking to give Eric Holmes any type of gift, please head over to your Sony shop. Send him a box set of all those Spider-Man movies.
Sam Raimi, so I can. Yeah, hopefully we don't have to wait another 20 years for another Sam Raimi movie.
I want to stop talking about Sam Raimi because I feel frustrated now that I haven't seen A Gift or A Simple Plan for so long. And Army of Darkness I haven't seen forever, and he's the man. He is the man, yeah. And his movies are so much fun, but they're all elevated fun, and they're elevated, but they're also in their cheese factor. It's just such a great experience watching Sam.
What if the Coen brothers could be gross sometimes? Which makes sense because I'd say they work together a lot.
He's so awesome. Send Help, 5 stars from both of us. Tell us what you think of Send Help. We're not doing a spoiler, but I will say this. I don't know about you, Eric, there is a third act where the Rachel McAdams character I did not see coming. Did you see whatever? There is an act that happens that her character does. Or were you surprised by anything her character does, especially in the third act?
Yes.
How did you feel about?
They showed that it was going that way, but
right. Wow.
Well, no, because there's the part where she's not yet. We'll just leave it there. But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like she decides, we're not going to do this yet. And then that comes up later with, I guess, is what you're talking about. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that she went there. What's more, I guess, I'm more disappointed that she went there. Not disappointed in the movie, but disappointed in her. You're better than this. Come on, why do you do this?
But it's also a good story.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's not a flaw of the movie. It's a feature because it makes you feel that way towards the character in the movie. It's come on, what? You're better than this. I did not raise you this way.
Please.
And then the thing is, you actually the movie actually gives you time to watch her react to what she did.
And I'll tell you this. Credit to Sam Raimi and the filmmakers involved. I don't have IMDb who wrote Send Help. Credit goes to not smoothing the edges of that character, to not smoothing out the edges of Rachel McAdams' character, and also just making an uncompromising movie. I just thought it was a really fun film. I hope more people get.
Written by Damian Shannon and Mark Swift.
Such a great. I wonder, Bruce. So we should message Bruce to see if he's seen it. If he hasn't seen it, he should definitely.
Writer of Baywatch and Friday the 13th. This is a market step up from.
Yeah,
Mark Swift wrote that. It was Damian Shannon.
Man, if I was a movie club member,
I guess they're a writing team.
I would watch. This is one last thing before we get out of here, Eric. Send Help. High rewatchability factor.
Oh yeah. In fact, like the weird thing is, like the boss was being such an a-hole.
Yeah.
Dude, you trapped on a deserted island with Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
What's your? I mean, granted, you're married, but just stranded
or about to be married. She's teaching you how to survive on an island, right?
Yeah.
So
it's like at every turn, she's being nice to him. She's saving his life, and he's still being like, he still thinks he's in the office. Dude, you gotta.
Yeah.
Eventually, she's all right. I'll just leave you here, and then she leaves for a couple days, and then they do that whole
nice montage there.
Thing where it's like lips are getting more and more dried and cracked and everything.
Yeah,
dude, you're not in the office anymore. You need to figure the F out right now.
All right, so we love Send Help. It's so funny. Send Help's the movie that we talked about the most this week over on CinemAddicts.
Yeah, it was just us going real quickly on it, but in fact, you can't.
But
watch Send Help, and then when you get home, put Twisted on.
Oh, I love it.
Stay in that lane. Or maybe you watch Send Help and then watch Jimpa and get yourself a little thematic whiplash. There you
go. Thematic whiplash. Eric is saying that in saying that everyone has their own opinions. But you know what Eric's rating for Jimpa is, and you know what my rating is for Jimpa. So if you do watch Jimpa, do not blame Eric. Listen to my review. You can actually email me.
We both agree Send Help is the better movie.
Oh, Send Help is the best movie of this week, but there were some really good ones this week as well. And
Twist is pretty. Don't get it twisted. Twist is pretty good.
Yeah, 3-star banging from Eric. And then remember
the thing about Twisted is like Twisted, you have to be in that. If you're a fan of those type of movies or not. With Send Help, I think Send Help's got a little more broader appeal because it's not a straight up horror movie. It's Castaway, but it's also.
Yeah.
Castaway with horror elements, I suppose.
All right, that is it, folks, for this week of CinemAddicts episode 330. You want to say anything to our wonderful CinemAddicts community before we leave? As Greg continues to do his fake voice, Eric Holmes, take us out of here.
Yeah. Watch Jimpa. Tell me where you land on it. The weird thing is Jimpa, because you gave it 4.5, I gave it 2. So when we do like movies like that, I'm always curious. Like, where do you fall in this? Because obviously I didn't like it, and you loved it, and so maybe someone else. Send Help is like, what did you think of Send Help? Loved it. Cool, me too. It's awesome. We can all agree on that. But movies like Jimpa are like those interesting movies. It's like, I hated it, you loved it, so where do other people fall on it?
Maybe we'll
to me that's the more interesting conversation to have.
I like that. Maybe we'll rope in Bruce for a Jimpa watch. Maybe, if he has time. Bruce Perky.
And then later on, I'll listen to Bruce Perky's review on The President's Cake and see if he sells me on it. Because
we can always do a rewind.
The title, I watched the trailer. Nothing about this made me go, "Ooh, I can't wait to watch it." All that said, Eric, stay far away from this movie.
I also want to mention before we get out of here, Patreon. It's 1987 for this month of February 2026. It's a $5 catch-all. We do a bonus episode. We haven't picked our movie yet. I'll just post over our Patreon feed and our CinemAddicts group, Facebook group feed. We need movie picks this month for the year 1987. And 2 of those movies for the bonus episode, we will review, me, Bruce, and Eric. And then one of these, the third movie, will be our assigned pick for our CinemAddicts Patreon feed. Lastly, please support us on however you listen to us on whatever audio platform. We'd love to get more just feedback from you guys. It's just, we really appreciate all your support. And that's enough of me glad-handing you guys. Most importantly, we'd love to hear what you think of this week's movies or give us some movie recommendations. I'm blabbing too much. Eric Holmes, take us out of here. We love you, Bruce Perky.
May have a special guest for the 1987 Patreon. There may be a bonus Patreon on there that will record separate. But
yes, and I forgot, Eric. Hunting Jessica Brock is one of the movies we're watching next week. Actually, I'm going to have to watch it in about an hour or so after editing this because I have an interview with the director and the star of it. Hunting Jessica Brock. Look at that trailer, Eric. I think it might be your type of movie. We have the link on our Google Doc. It's a Saban Films, I think, type 2-hour combat movie. Might be interesting. There's another movie called Sweetness that I already reviewed. By Design, Eric. What do you think? We have the links to By Design. By Design is from the director of Please Baby Please, Andrea Riseborough from 4 years ago. You remember that? That's something that we're gonna cover as well. Another movie that's on the docket.
Not a winner of the Virginia Newcomb Award, but Andrea Riseborough probably should have been at some point in the past.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's a treasure. Good luck, have fun, don't die. It's a Sam Rockwell film directed by Gore Verbinski that me, Bruce, and Eric have the screening links to. We'll give a review of that next week. And finally, last but definitely not least, our friend, our colleague, I don't even say colleague because he's a real life filmmaker and we're just bloviating. Jeremiah Kip, the mortuary assistant.
Oh, he's got a new one coming out?
Yeah.
Hell, I'm down.
Yeah, Jeremiah Kip. Yeah. You down. It's like we love Slapface and we love him and he loves Sam Fuller. Yeah. So I believe we have the screener links to the mortuary assistant. It comes out next week. Nice. And I specifically told the publicist, Eric, that if you want to interview Jeremiah, hit up Eric Holmes. So I'm sure you hopefully you'll be able to interview Jeremiah. I mean, we could probably just message him, but I want to go through proper channels here. We're trying to be professional here, right? We're a little professional.
I mean, we're not, but we like.
Hey, we're not. we're not professional. But speaking of people who actually are professional, here's Bruce Perky over at the Cinematic.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to the Cinematic, the attic of cinema, and for one more week, maybe for many more weeks, but at least for one more week, I am climbing down from the attic and bringing you some new movies that maybe have not come across your radar because they weren't major releases. They are more independently minded. They are something that we got screeners for, and Greg passed them under the door to me along with a very, very sparse plate of food. Water maybe was already there. I have something to catch the rainwater through the drip in the ceiling of the attic. But other than that, yes, I have some screeners for you this week. I only have 2. We had a lot of choices. I just ended up having a busy week. but I did get a couple movies in for you that you probably never heard of. And I might be the only one who watched them, because by the looks of our shared document, I don't know if Eric or Greg watched these movies. So what we have this week are the Arborist, and we also have a movie called The President's Cake. And I think, should I go from worst to first? There's only two. So worst to first or best to worst? And I think I'm going to hit you with best to worst. We're going to start with the best first. Okay, for me, the best of these two is easily The President's Cake. The President's Cake, directed by Hassan Hadi, starring, oh boy, here we go. Stay with me, people. Ahmed Tabet as Bibi and Sajjad Mohammed Qasem as Saeed. But basically, you need to know it's not really a three-hander, but there's three main characters in this movie, and you just heard them. But really, your main character is Lamia, or Lamia. I think she goes more by Lamia. And this is an Iraqi movie. I think it may be the first movie from Iraq that I've seen. If I've seen another movie, I can't seem to remember it. I've seen a lot of movies from Iran. Iran has a very, very rich, long history of fantastic filmmaking. Even this year, they have some great films that have come out. But I can't think of anything from Iraq. So this movie is taking place in 1990. You still have Saddam Hussein in power. He is firmly in power, except for the fact that the Americans are definitely underway as far as trying to invade the country in 1990, at least somewhat. There are constant flights, there are bombings all the time, there are sanctions, shortages of food, shortages of all kinds of supplies. So that's I guess you'd say the looming overarching kind of reality that kind of surrounds this movie. But even more importantly is the presence of Saddam Hussein, because if you've ever seen pictures from that time period, his paintings of him are all over the walls. There's banners with Saddam Hussein, statues. All of the officials and all of the soldiers they all have a mustache and hair cut short in a way that looks familiar, kind of Saddam Hussein-esque. And the basic premise of this movie is, apparently, on Saddam Hussein's birthday, everybody in the nation was expected, really mandated, to celebrate his birthday and to show proper adoration for the dictator king, emperor, whatever he was considered, all of those things. And little Lamia here, she's a young girl. I don't know, by the looks of it, I'd say she's probably like 10 maybe. She lives in the marshlands next to, and I don't know which river it is, I should look it up, probably the Tigris or the Euphrates. And I think they're not too far from Baghdad, because I think they end up in Baghdad for most of this movie. I, once again, didn't look up to see for sure if I'm right about that. That's the only major city I know in Iraq. So if it's just me being a silly American, not doing my research, I apologize. But she lives in the marshlands, and she lives there with her grandmother. That's Bibi. A very, very meager life. I mean, but it seems to be pretty full and normal. Like their everyday lives are not like, they're not like hit by bombs all the time. They're not, the world around them doesn't seem to be ravaged by war and destruction. Although you have that constant buzzing of the planes overhead, you see her and they're living like literally like a reed hut. It's a very cool looking one, but it's still a hut. And they cook in a big like clay kiln thing. And where does the president's cake come into play? From the way they look here, in every class, I guess, because she's only in one class. I don't know if that's the whole school, but it just seems like it's only one class. In every class, for the birthday of Saddam Hussein, kids are picked out to give different kinds of tributes. And it's supposed to be, of course, unquote, an honor. But how much of an honor it really is for these poor kids is pretty dubious. Even going to the point that Lamia is trying to find some excuse to get out of the classroom when they're picking the different kids for these honors, because she doesn't want to be part of it. The honors are things like, hey, you're going to bring fruit on the day of his birthday, showing how awesome it is. And if you're really poor, finding a bunch of fruit is not that cheap or easy. And the biggest honor is you get to cook the birthday cake for the president. Now, of course, in this case, you're just cooking some cake here in the middle of nowhere. It's not going to go to Saddam Hussein, but it's like a tribute in proxy cake for Saddam Hussein's birthday, and it essentially goes to the teacher. And this teacher is pretty terrible guy, and he's even saying, the kid's getting out of line, "You do want me to report your parents like the other person to the authorities and have them get dragged away," that kind of thing. So literally threatening authoritarian violence on the kids if they're not doing what he thinks is being proper children in his classroom. So needless to say, Lamia is picked, almost Hunger Games style, picked to make the cake for the president, and thus leads the rest of the movie, which is essentially almost like a journey. Kind of, you've seen versions of this movie before in various settings and in various times and places where a kid, for one reason or another, is stuck somewhat alone in a world that is much bigger and possibly more threatening than they should have to deal with alone. And they're on a journey or a mission to do something or achieve something. In this case, Lamia's mission is to get the ingredients so she can make this cake. I was thinking like Blitz would be a perfect example, where the kid had to get back to his mom in London during the Blitzkrieg, but he was way out in the country at the beginning because they were shipping all the kids away. In this one, she's going with Bibi, her grandma, to Baghdad to find all these ingredients. But some things I'm not going to reveal, but fairly early on, there's a big change in the kind of the arrangement, because you figure like she's going to be with her grandmother the whole time, fairly safe, even though her grandmother's relatively old and frail. She's going to be relatively safe and navigate these markets and bazaars and everything and get the ingredients that she needs to make a cake. Things change pretty quickly, and you find Lamia being relatively alone and having to navigate all these different experiences. And like I said, it becomes a journey movie, a saga, where she's encountering different people in different situations. Even before that, when she's with her grandmother, they encounter some different people, different situations. So the movie works as both, to me, like a coming of age story, but more a vision of a world and a time and a place through the eyes of a kid and as our proxy. And that's really, really well done. And part of it works because Lamia is so great. I even kept thinking about it while I was watching it. Is this another Pem Zam almost? I mean, she's really good. I don't know if she's quite as magical as Pem Zam was, but she's pretty darn good. And she has to hold this movie down. She is the center of the movie. But you also have to recognize one other factor, which I have not mentioned, and that is Hindi. Hindi, the rooster, because you see from the very, very beginning, essentially her best friend / pet is a rooster. Not for food, not for a bunch of other chickens that they have in their yard. Hindi is just a rooster, and she loves this rooster. She carries it in a little bag with a rope that she kind of strings across her shoulder the whole movie. And as I said in our offline chat with Greg and Eric, I worried much of this movie. I worried for the health and the well-being of Hindi, and I will not tell you if Hindi makes it out, but I will say Hindi definitely does face some threats, and Hindi is amazing, and the two of them together are fantastic. Think about it like this. One of the big tropes of movie making is don't work with children or animals. So not only did this director, Hassan Hadi, work with a child and an animal as the main on-screen characters for almost 90% of the movie, but this young actor, she had to hold down the movie while carrying a live rooster pretty much the whole time. So pretty great. There are some other main characters in this. I did mention Saeed. Saeed is a young boy that's in her class that she has a friendship with and comes in and out of the adventure as well. This is a fantastic movie. Really, really like this movie. I think it's, from the basic setup I've given you, you might think it's very dark, and it isn't. It's not a very, very dark movie. It's more, once again, go to what would be a good comparison. Hope and Glory might be a good one. That was World War II movie done by, I want to say, John Borman, based on his childhood living around the Blitz in London as a kid and finding this great adventure in the situation, even though it's this dangerous situation. And there's Lamia's attitude in this movie is kind of a a can-do, very feisty. Does she get upset at certain times? Yes, but she's always just bold. She's very bold and trying to get things done. She's trying to accomplish things, and she stands up for herself constantly. She's not like super meek and mild-mannered, and it's a really great character and a great story. And I'm just trying to say it's not a big bummer all the way through. Are there moments that are a little scary or threatening or sad for her or for people around her? Yes, there are some moments for sure. But overall, that is not the vibe of this movie. This is a fantastic movie. So hopefully it will get some. I think it was proposed as the Oscar possibility from Iraq, but I don't think it didn't get chosen. I don't think as one of the international language films, but it definitely could have. 4.5 stars for me for The President's Cake. Keep an eye out for it. I'm sure it'll be a little hard to find for a while here, probably a very limited release, but I probably will also appear on some streamers relatively quickly. This is the kind of movie that kind of, I can imagine you just never hear about and then gets a Criterion release or something. I know just people will be like, what is this movie called The President's Cake, and why is it? Oh, and I would say there's a little tiny bit of documentary footage of the actual Saddam Hussein. Not much, a little tiny bit. But I would say the one at the very end that you get is very fulfilling. And it does revolve around the title of The President's Cake, as you might imagine. And it really does kind of put a little exclamation point on the whole world that she's living in. And as you might guess also, there is definitely some very subtle commentary on life under authoritarian rule and that kind of stuff. But it isn't really the point of the movie. It's just, I don't know, just is as like the context that shows you the resilience and humanity of people in any situation, how that is the through line of the world. But really, really good movie. The President's Cake. Check it out if you can. Okay, my next movie here is The Arborist, directed by Andrew Mudge, M-U-D-G-E, Mudge. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. Stars Lucy Walters as Ellie, Hudson West as Wyatt, her son, and Will Lyman as Arthur Rudolph. This is an indie horror movie and has a pretty simple setup, but it's one you've seen versions of before. The very, very beginning of the movie is she wakes up in the middle of the night. Her kid is in distress, her little baby. Wyatt is not her little baby. Wyatt is her kind of teenage son. It's probably young teenage son, maybe about 13 or something. But she runs the crib and everything, and she discovers her infant has died. Basically, SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. And you don't really see a lot. It's not really gory or explicit or anything. It's just the opening context of the movie that this terrible, tragic event happens, and the pre-title. And while that's happening, you see this image of like a creature in this woven stick branch sphere. And you're like, is she having a nightmare? Is this like her memory of the event with her infant? And it's like being transformed through this kind of monstrous imagery. You're not sure, but that's what sets off the opening of the movie. And then cut forward to she's taking a brand new job, going out to this country estate, a dilapidated country estate, and that's owned by the Arthur Randolph guy. And her teenage son, I already mentioned Wyatt, are out there to basically remove a bunch of trees from a certain area of the property, thus the arborist side of things. And it's an odd thing right out of the gate because, like I said, this rundown country estate, very large, with one old dude living there. And even at the very beginning, she can't figure out, like, why do you need me here to do this? You're just having me cut down some marked trees and cut them up into pieces and for firewood and then leave? That's not really what you need an arborist for. I'm way overqualified for this. You can just get any dudes who have the machinery and can cut down trees to do this job, some manual labor. But the thing about it is the marked trees on his property that she's cutting down are in a really odd setting. There's this little grove, forested grove, as you might expect, with this low, rundown wooden stage, kind of this little kind of natural amphitheater built into the hillside, and surrounding it are these trees. So right out of the gate, she's kind of, what is this place? It's weird. And it seems maybe culty or something, you're not sure. And he says, nah, it was a children's it was a children's theater that we had back in the past when the kids would come here and we'd have plays and do things. And so you're wondering right out of the gate, this is a horror movie. What's going on here? What's the mystery? And that's the setup for the whole movie. She keeps having visions. Her son Wyatt is having kind of visions. There's things like a crow-like creature, maybe raven-like creature, but then again it looks like maybe a person dressed up like a crow. You're not sure. Of course, those questions get answered. There's also mystery around this manor and what's going on here, and why is the old man still here, and is there some history that's nefarious going on in this place? And it's one of those things where you've seen versions of this, I guess, in the past. And this is a movie I think that makes it or breaks it. These kind of little indie horror movies that have this kind of somewhat basic setup, but also with the right style and the right writing, this could be a really interesting little hidden gem of a horror movie. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite go there for me, mostly because a lot of the things it does, like the basic setup, a lot of the things it does are versions of things I've seen a bunch of times before. So it kept veering in ways where it could have been really interesting and then would do something that was tropey that I've seen like a bunch of times before. The kid dying at the beginning, and then that's haunting her forever. I can think right on top of my head, like several classic movies that do that, but most obviously, like you've got things like Don't Look Now, and you've got The Changeling. There's a lot of movies where the main character right at the beginning loses a child, and then that's a haunting element of the whole movie. But if the movie is really stylish and interesting and really well done, that's fine. That adds some emotional stakes to your main character. But if it doesn't do stuff in a really interesting and stylish way, then it's, I've seen this before. And unfortunately, this is that category. It also does some other things, like you hear the baby crying mysteriously. And she's haunted by that. And she has this tattoo of this kind of a tree on her arm that she got from her father's knife handle. And the knife handle of her father's knife had the same tree, and that's why she picked it. But then maybe she's going to see that tree image somewhere else in this manor, which she's never been to before. But is there a history? Is there a mystery there? And once again, it's so on the nose. So she's an arborist, so of course she has a tree tattoo. And her kid, Wyatt, is terrible too. Like, you would think he's going to be one of your main three characters. It's her only living child after having this terrible event. And he will almost taunt her with that idea. Like between the two of them, there seems to be almost like this competition to blame the other person for this child's death, that's pretty terrible. And it could be interesting, but it's never really played out in a full way. Like you can get, there's a lot of elements here that turned just the right way, I think could have made this a really interesting, cool little horror movie. But unfortunately, it just never quite goes there. I think the production values are good. The direction is fine. I think the writing is the real weakness here, because it's those things that would have given it that special edge or flair. So unfortunately for the Arborist, and it wasn't very scary either on top of that. Not to say I get scared very much by horror movies anymore, but it wasn't like honestly creepy, honestly unsettling, honestly gory, horrifying, thrilling. None of those things that should be one of those things if it's a horror movie. So yeah, the Arborist, I didn't hate it. I'm not angry with it. It's going to go right down the middle, like not a recommend or not an unrecommend. It's just a absolute mid movie, like 2.5 stars for me. I didn't hate myself for watching it. I didn't hate the time watching it, but I really didn't move the needle hardly at all for me. And I think depending on where you come to it, you might lean one way or the other, but I don't think this is going to really fire anybody up. So the Arborist, unfortunately, I'm only going to get 2.5 stars for. Once again, only 2 movies this week, so sorry it's a little thin, but I think that at least of the 2, you've got a really, really good one to keep your eyes out for and put on your watch list, and that's The President's Cake. And that's about all I've got this week for you. I know lately myself and Greg have been having a little duel with how I leave the show. Am I allowed to say things? Once again, is he holding me back? I don't get political, Bruce. This isn't a political show. I get that. But sometimes you just you can't be, I don't know, tiptoeing around things, but maybe you should. I don't know. This world seems like you need to say things when you have the chance, but who's listening to this show to hear me say things? An old man. So all I'm going to say is I've been having this very obvious outro, just a 2-word outro. It's just starts with F and ends with E. That's 2 words. That doesn't make any sense. The words start with F and I. And I was thinking to myself, like, we want to get this to go away. Like, how do we get the government to be behind our efforts? When I say FI, if you know what that means, like, the government's not going to want to do that. And we're like, why won't the government do that? Why doesn't the government want to get rid of this damaging, dangerous thing in our world? And I was thinking to myself, with all of these files and everything coming out in the last week or so, in the last couple months, I had an idea. I looked it up. Like, how long has ICE been around? Has it been around for 100 years? 5 years? I didn't think it's been very long. I looked it up. They've been around 22 years, but then it dawned on me, like a star, like a light bulb went on over my head. It's, of course the government doesn't want to FI, because ICE is just too old for them. I mean, it's 22 years old. I mean, and we know from these things that have been released, I mean, many of the members of this administration, I mean, that's just way too old for them to have any intention to do what I've been suggesting should be done to ICE. So I guess that explains everything. I mean, we just have to make sure that we need to get a newer, younger ICE, and then maybe our goals will be achieved. Anyway, all I got to say on the way out of here is we got to ICE.